All right. Welcome, Dan. We'd love to talk about cryptocurrency. That is today's topic.
Wonderful. Well, thank you so much, Lauren, for having me. I'm excited to be a part of today's conversation with you all in New Jersey, and I'm calling in from San Francisco. We're going to go through some Crypto 101. I have a very long presentation here, but we're just going to breeze through it, get to some key points about crypto that you should know for your organization, some key things to keep in mind, and then we'll open it up to Q&A and discussion. I think that'll be, the bulk of our time together, hopefully, if I can move quick enough. So save questions. We'll save a lot of time for that at the end. So a little bit about us here. So just so you know, I'm a crypto fundraising strategist. So I work directly with nonprofits all over the globe on how to fundraise crypto, best practices. I come to crypto fundraising with more than 10 years of fundraising in the nonprofit and performing arts, working most recently with the San Francisco Symphony and some other organizations like Detroit and Cleveland Orchestra. Basically, what you should know about the Giving Block up next is that, we are like the world's leading provider and solution provider in cryptocurrency acceptance for nonprofits. And we help folks navigate the space with a headache-free solution to accept that crypto and immediately turn it to cash to fuel their mission. And that's kind of like the basics I'd share in terms of what we do. But yes, it's a very exciting and new building asset class that's helping nonprofits the world over really think differently about building their donor pipelines and sort of extend out opportunities for them and to fuel their mission. So today we're going to cover a little bit of these areas. We're going to talk about crypto philanthropy. We have a case study we can show you real quick and a little bit about how to fundraise crypto. Again, I'm going to breeze through a lot of this just for the ease of time. So I'm going to give you the really highlight items on the slides. So let's talk a little bit about intro to crypto. So what exactly is crypto? What are NFTs? Let's talk about the total users, market size, activity, mainstream, and adoption. So I'm hoping someone else on this call knows this, but by a little bit of show of hands, are you familiar with what crypto is today? Got a so. I might have seen one hand. So basically, cryptocurrency is a digital currency that can be used to buy goods and services. And our favorite thing of the Giving Block is when they give a gift of that crypto to your organization to support your mission. And NFTs are essentially a type of crypto. They're a token that houses a use case inside of it. And usually that is something like music or art, but it can be even a contract to purchase a house. And so NFTs are also a rising philanthropy area that didn't even exist in a philanthropic sense like 3 to 4 years ago, and it is now fast becoming a major force. In terms of total users, we have a little bit of data for you on this next slide. There's about 300 million crypto wallet holders around the world. At 11.6 trillion is the value of the asset class at this time. So let's talk a little bit about price volatility. We get this all the time in the crypto space. Crypto's up, crypto's down, crypto's up, crypto's down. We've seen over 10 years that it's dropped 16 times or more, over 30%, but it's also come back and it's also grown substantially in that same time period. And it's a very interesting thing to keep in mind that yes, there's volatility in the asset class, but there's a lot of growth in the asset class too. And when we look at the sort of the appreciation chart of like the Bitcoin purchase, and this is just May to May over the course of about a 10-year span here, you can see that based on the purchase price and how much was spent, like the value that the holder of Bitcoin would have today. So for example, if they bought $1,000 worth of Bitcoin in May 13th at $115, right now Bitcoin's around, I think, 24,000, give or take, over the weekend. So you can see where they're at now. That person is significantly up in the Bitcoin area, whereas somebody who purchased it maybe May 13th of last year might have lost a lot of money at this point. So the asset class does move quite regularly, but you have to remember a lot of the people in crypto have been in it for many, many years and have bought well in advance. So they're still harvesting cap gains. But we do have crypto donors who are trying to harvest losses as well. There's a lot of strategies that can help someone's taxes. And we do find tax incentivization as a key element for crypto donors to keep in mind. So this is just some really great data. We can share this out with you afterwards as well. Next up, who's fundraising crypto? As of right now, we're partnering closely with 1,800 crypto friendly nonprofits across the globe. You'll see many of the names you're familiar with, from the American Cancer Society to St. Jude, PETA to Feeding America. We're working with a lot of folks to fuel crypto. Last year in 2021, we raised over $70 million, or just about $70 million, excuse me, in crypto. I was just shy by a little bit, but nearly 70 million. And then of that, 12.3 million was NFT donations. And this year we're on track to raise over 500 million in crypto donations in this year. So it's a really exciting timeline. So the math, I love this slide because it just kind of helps you understand a little bit about, you know, between wealth and stocks, why Bitcoin has amassed so much money. And it's a simple thing. If you were to put $1 into Bitcoin and the asset class rises 1,000%, you know, and then Bitcoin drops again 50%, you're up to $5, right? And then if you look at the stock equation, we give you a similar scenario, goes up 100%, and then it gains 100%, you've still only got $4. So it shows the power of this asset class for building wealth and a lot like that. It's just really been a great generator on that front. That's the quick message there. All right, let's talk about crypto philanthropy, which is my favorite thing. So a little bit of history of crypto philanthropy. And why are donors giving it? And then we'll show you a little bit of donor profile. Who are the crypto donors out there? So first of all, let me go back. So crypto philanthropy was a non-existent field about 5 or 6 years ago. And out of the blue, we saw the emergence of the Pineapple Fund, which gave away substantial millions of dollars in Bitcoin to a number of charities. And that sort of sparked the idea with our co-founders, Alex and Pat, who built the Giving Block 4 years ago, to have a philanthropic solution for accepting and receiving crypto. And that has grown to where we are today, an asset class that's seeing millions and millions of dollars a year given away. Donors are giving it for a few reasons. You know, tax incentive is a huge reason, right? Especially in the US, there's a lot of tax incentives because it's treated just like stock, which makes it great, but it moves just like cash, which is very different than stock, right? You can't just send stock to me. You have to sell it, send me the cash. But crypto, you can send me Bitcoin or Ethereum on the blockchain, which is just a whole different world because it operates a lot more like sending cash. You know, you go out to dinner, your friends say, oh, you know, drop me cash at the table to cover your portion of the check, or Venmo me, or whatever. But now we can also make up that difference in Bitcoin wallet to wallet, and it can come to you just the same. So that tax incentivization being treated just like stocks has really been a game changer for crypto philanthropy, and is one of the things we're really happy about. And then in terms of community, you know, there's a real building and burgeoning sense of community. If you just visit Twitter, or what we like to sometimes jokingly refer to as crypto Twitter, you'll see a lot of activity and momentum. Every day you'll see thousands and thousands of tweets about GM, and that's not General Motors. And it's, you know, it's actually good morning. And these are folks coming online saying good morning. They're talking about the prices of the cryptocurrencies. They're talking about the build outs, all kinds of things. And there's a real sense of community out there. And then let's talk a little bit about who the donors are out there in the space. So right now, we're seeing about 45% of these crypto donors are donating 1,000 or more per individual. The average donation in the crypto space is $10,500, which is amazing. So for most nonprofits, that's generally a major gift of some kind, or at least a substantial gift on some level. And then we're seeing the average age in their 30s and the average household income around 111,000. So this is a very wealthier group of individuals. It's also a very educated group. And then it does skew, I believe, still a little bit male, but women holders are rising, which is fantastic. It's an extraordinarily diverse area. And then it's a very, I'll go back, it's a very social media heavy group because it skews so younger. So this is a great opportunity. You know, when I was in the philanthropy field, directly raising money in the trenches, like all of you are, like, this is an asset class that represents donor pipeline development. We all talked about, longevity of our organization, diversifying the donor pipeline, adding new members of age, as well as diversity of all kinds. And crypto represents that now. And it's a great opportunity to start to not just work with your current donors who may have crypto and you don't know, or your current patron base, but also extend into people you haven't met. And so many of our nonprofits fundraising crypto find out that it's the very first crypto gifts they'll get sometimes are from fully anonymous people, or even people they've never met before, who found out about their organization through different methods than what you're traditionally used to reaching donors. So let's talk about Trees for the Future. They're a super awesome group, and I think that's a really timely subject today for the environmental group today in New Jersey. So what's so cool is that, what they saw is that they were able to plant 2.3 million trees, and that helps sequester more than 80,000 metric tons of carbon dioxide over 20 years and changes so many lives and just some substantial gifts. Trees for the Future. If you want just a little bit of homework after today's session, whether or not you book a demo with us or follow up about crypto fundraising or get a little bit more involved, which I highly recommend, you should check out what we offer as well as what's out there in the servicing, because it's just like credit cards and stock, it's another way to give. And so you got to kind of at some point address that at your nonprofit, because more people might be interested in that. You'll also, fun note, you'll be shocked at how many of my friends from the CDO world call me up and say, oh, hey, you'll laugh at this, but so-and-so just mentioned on my board or among my major donor base, oh, do you take crypto? And so sometimes that fuels the move for your organization. But at the same time, just don't forget, similar to credit cards, you need a way to transact at some point. Sooner rather than later. So just keep that in mind, whether we're your solution provider or not. That's something to just look at as you get time with your team to investigate and research the options. Yeah, Trees for the Future is a great homework assignment, back to the original topic, to just check out their social media, see what they're doing. They have had some amazing NFT philanthropy, some great crypto philanthropy, and it's resulted in some really cool impact all over the world in terms of helping the environment as well as planting trees. And a really fun, it's a really fun nonprofit to check out. How to fundraise crypto. So a couple of things. You need to be able to accept it, is the high level. What you're going to probably do is, think about this. Like, I like to say, just keep it easy, right? You need a solution that allows it to be intuitive, smart, quick. That's something we offer at the Giving Block. We can walk you through that with our team that it does that, if that's of interest to you. Don't neglect the donor needs. You'd be surprised the number of donors who are out there that have cryptos or have bought into crypto and might want to give it to you. And then we have a ton of services. Like, we have our major gift service that comes for clients, which include private client services that helps gifts of usually 10,000 or more in equivalent cash value, or like NFTs or unique scenarios that might crop up that you need support for. We have all kinds of things out there. And we also help with dynamic wallet addresses, which means every time you pull your wallet address, you're not actually providing the original wallet address. Which, by the way, if someone can find your wallet address, they can find out who your wallet holder is, and they can find out more about you. And that makes you very susceptible potentially to hacks. So we have an amazing solution where we provide a dynamic wallet address. So every time someone uses it, it goes to your organization, but it doesn't actually give up the wallet of your organization or the exact address. So that provides, complete utility on the crypto market. So it can be used again and again and again to give you crypto, or a donation from an NFT sale. But does not actually subject your organization to potential hacks, because no one knows your actual wallet address, which is so great, because that's one of the challenges. As you've seen, like Solana just got hacked over last week, millions and millions of dollars plucked out of people's wallets, and it's a little bit scary in times, but that's something we take very serious, is your safety and security. So we built a product that's meant to help nonprofits navigate this space. And that's why we have a team of strategists who come with 8 to 10 years or more in fundraising roles, who really understand what you're dealing with. And those are the kind of people you're going to be working with here. And then last up, I love to say this all the time, it's not just about accepting crypto. At some point, it's like, yeah, you just need this option to get started, but at some point it's about active fundraising. It's about creating a difference, and it's about getting out there, asking for money, soliciting those gifts, following best practices, and trying new creative ideas among your organization and your leadership, and coming up with those ideas and getting them active and trying in the space. So this is on the left side, a look at what the widget looks like, how somebody's going to give money to you. They're going to go through this widget, select their crypto, pick their amount, and they're going to follow that through to get the wallet code. And then they're going to use that wallet code to go into their crypto wallet and provide you the gift and finalize the transaction. So we're going to offer you that headache-free widget that helps you give money. We have that private client services, which I mention, which helps with complex gifts, major gifts, NFTs, things like that. So if you do need that extra support, we're here for you. We're going to help you navigate this space. We're going to also help you avoid all that volatility we kind of touched on a little bit ago. We have an automatic conversion. Most gift acceptance policies tend to, treat crypto just like stock, whereas you don't, if I give you my Apple shares, you're probably not going to hold them. You're probably going to liquidate them and take the cash, put it to work on your mission. Crypto, for most organizations right now, we're seeing is being treated very similarly, unless your gift acceptance team or gift acceptance policies have a, different version. Most organizations are going to probably come at it similar to stock. That's your decision ultimately in discussions with your gift acceptance team and leadership on how you're going to build your policies. But we have an option for you on that. So in that case, we take the crypto, we help sell it, and we convert it right to USD dollars. And then you're going to receive the USD dollars to put to work. So that way you're going to get that Bitcoin within seconds and get, within seconds that value locked in cash, which is helpful for you. But we also have services if you want to invest in crypto for rainy day fund, endowment funding. We do offer that as well to clients. So that comes along if you're interested in sort of having some Bitcoin as part of your campaign so that you can build out that, beautiful building or that future project or impact you're trying to have. There's options as well there. We offer automatic donor receipts so that right away the donor is receipted as per IRS guidelines. And then you can obviously follow up and steward that relationship and take that to the next level. And then we also have automatic tax documentation. Those are your IRS forms, 8282 and 8283. One is the organizations, the other is for donors who are giving at the major gift level per the IRS. I think it's donors are 5,000 or more, but for your nonprofits, it's 500 or more for your forms that you have to look at filing. And you'll talk to your accountants, but we provide all that automatic prepared for you. So then you can just finalize the forms and include those in your filings. Data reporting, of course, we have the donor dashboard, which has all your analytics and things like that. You're going to be able to see the popular cryptos that you're getting the most, the size, the average. You're going to be able to sort that, pull down reports as well to provide your gift acceptance and processing team. And it's a really great reporting tool with a lot more features coming online every day and all the time. So it's exciting there. And then support and expertise. And this is where we come in to help you. We're not just a crypto processor, just like a credit card processor. We're not just here to help you accept the asset class and turn it to cash. We're actually here to help see you succeed. And your success is our success. And that's very much our mentality at the Giving Block. So we have a team of crypto philanthropy experts who are folks from all over the world that offer, fundraising backgrounds and are also, your help in the crypto space. So we're going to be here to support your organization, especially at the more premium packages that we offer. We have more one-to-one strategy sessions and things like that, and more immersive engagement content. But our support team and our strategists are here to help you and make sure that you're getting the support you need to succeed in this space. We have, as I mentioned, the high value service of private client services. I think we've covered that. And then sort of the expert network for task compliance and more. So if you're needing help or needing recommendations, we have a lot of that available to you, and we can help network with you and get you to folks that can help support your organization for whatever needs you may have. And then sort of just fundraising crypto, this is what's really cool about us. We really understand this space really well. We're very networked in the crypto space, having built the crypto philanthropy movement. It didn't exist 4 years ago. And now it's a major trend in philanthropy as well as in the crypto world. And so we're the people who are on the grounds building those networks, understanding the demographics and the donors, and really trying to help you navigate this space to really, capitalize on the ROI that's available for your organization to do the work you need to do to fulfill your mission. And then, understanding the community is very important. And I think that's part of it. It's like, not just like, can we accept crypto, but how do I fundraise and how do I meet these donors? And so that's where the knowledge base is going to come in. We offer all clients access to our crypto knowledge base, which covers a varying amount of topics. And then for our packages at the higher levels, they have modules and additional content available to them inside that knowledge base. And that's going to be everything from frequently asked questions and terminology in the crypto space, all the client webinars we offer, and more, just to really help you build a strong foundation and to really succeed in this space. And then I think, the rest of this is more of a sales pitch. So I'm going to stop there. I want to open up to questions, but that's kind of the basics of crypto, NFTs, philanthropy, where we're at and where we're going. If you scan that QR code, that I believe will take you to setting up a meeting. I highly encourage your organization, connect with us to hear what we're doing, but also, look what's out there, see what other options are out there as well. We're not the only provider. We are the leading provider. But yeah, just throw that out there. We're happy to have a what do they call that? We're just happy to show you the product and what's going, answer all your questions, and then take it from there in discussions. So, all right, I'm going to stop sharing and we'll just open it up to the room for questions and discussion and anything you'd like to talk about today around crypto and philanthropy.
Dan, if I could ask a quick question. Hi, this is Denise. I'm with Morris County Park System here in New Jersey. and I am old. So I don't understand any of this. Can you just go back and explain to me an NFT? Like,
Yeah. So
it's a type of crypto, but after that, I'm kind of lost.
yeah, no problem, Denise. I'm glad you asked that. And don't worry, it doesn't matter your age. The crypto space welcomes you. So NFTs are non-fungible tokens. And what's so cool about that, that's what NFT stands for. What's cool about it is it allows for basically a contract to be built inside that that's housed inside that token that then allows for certain use cases on the internet among trading the token. So it's going to, one, identify who holds it and the unique holder, and two, it's going to identify a certain set of steps to be taken every time the crypto is traded or sold to another person. And what's cool about that is that then change, okay, Denise owns it, now Dan owns it because Denise sold it to Dan or Denise gave it to Dan. And then inside that, it's most often now we're finding use cases. It's hosting like some sort of music, like a recording of some kind, or visual content like an NFT. Bored Ape Yacht Club is probably a great example of an NFT you've heard of. And that actually supported one of our clients, the Orangutan Outreach has received significant major philanthropy from that NFT group. And so we've seen NFT philanthropy become a rise among the NFT space. It's a community-oriented space. Yes, they're buying, everything from photos to, images that are designed by people and computers alike. But we're seeing in that space, there's a lot of passion for philanthropy and helping others. I read recently, there was a study that said 3 in 4 folks in the millennial or younger age groups view themselves as philanthropists, whether or not they have the asset class or not in their control to give that money or give that wealth, they still view themselves as a philanthropist. And what's interesting is I'm not surprised to see so many younger NFT collections, including a philanthropic arm, whether it be X percentage at sale time. So they'll call that a sale or a mint, and they'll go online, they'll sell 1,000 or 10,000 NFTs, and they'll carve out 10% for your organization or a certain portion. And so every time an NFT sells, or after they sell all the first round, they'll send you a crypto gift through the widget to your organization. And so that philanthropy has really grown. But yeah, NFTs are essentially a type of crypto. And that's one thing to keep in mind for organizations. What you want to know is, essentially, you're likely not going to be able to hold an NFT unless your gift acceptance policies allows you to, because it's similar to a security. And it's also taxed just like a security is. So just like Apple stock. And so because of that, most nonprofits can't hold NFTs, but they can be beneficiaries. Whereas when the NFT is sold or resold, you can absolutely receive that crypto. And so we're always reminding nonprofits, like, unless you're allowed to hold it in your gift acceptance policies and bylaws, you're most often just going to say, hey, thanks for thinking of us. Here's where you can send the Bitcoin or the Ether from the trade, and then they'll send that to your wallet address. So yeah, great question.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I missed it. Was it non-fungible or non-fundable token? What did you say it was?
Non-fungible. I can also spell that in the chat because it's a little hard to say that on Zoom, fungible here. There you go.
Oh, okay.
Absolutely. And on our website, we have a ton of I'll link you to our website where it's got a really cool page just for nonprofits. Here, this is a kind of a goofy long link here, but check this out because this has got some great resources, y'all. Free resources, check them out. NFTs are on there, Crypto 101's donor. We've got a ton of resource guides. We even have an NFT philanthropy report, which is super cool. Love it. I would highly recommend downloading that and checking that out as well, just to get a sense of what's going on out there and what's important to keep in mind as you're starting to navigate, because I'm sure you're getting these questions from your board and donors, or your team at least on some level. And so you want to start to be able to understand how you want to approach this.
The question I have is, what causes the crypto to go up and down in value? Is it because of the fact that it's like securities and that it's invested in something and gets returns, and the return goes up and down, or is it something else?
Yeah, so it's a good question. I'll do my best. I mean, I'm not the expert in that area at all. From what I understand, it's similar to stock. The value goes up and down because it's just like similar to a currency in how it's traded, but it's sort of like an asset class that is similar to stock in that what someone's willing to pay for it and what it's worth changes. And so as the crypto world's doing well, we're seeing it go up. As it's decentralized, a lot of crypto people prefer sort of decentralization in terms of management of wealth. That's why the crypto each of the blockchains has a ledger that you can actually access. Like you can go to Etherscan and see every single Ether transaction in the history of the blockchain and like track down information. It's great for donor, looking up donation transactions, things like that. And because of that transparency, it's not as clear as day as to like what's driving the ups and downs, but I'm sure things like wars, overall conditions, like for example, the inflation going up, heavily investing from, high net worth families, things like that all impact the crypto sector, just like they would a stock.
Do you only accept Bitcoin and Ether?
We can actually help you accept, and I probably should have said this as I was talking, 80 plus cryptocurrencies right now through your widget. And typically it's more of the major cryptos. What we look at with our partner who helps us accept the crypto is making sure that we can turn that crypto to cash. That's one of the number one things. So there's thousands and thousands of cryptos and NFTs in the world right now, and constantly more coming every month and week. And because of that, our goal is if you're going to accept it with us, we want to make sure it can be turned to cash right away for you. So we don't accept some of the more obscure or newer build cryptos until it shows enough of a market volume that we can turn it to cash. Yeah. Worst thing would be for you to receive, $1 million of X currency and it's not worth a penny because no one will buy it off you. And then you're potentially in violation of your gift acceptance policies, depending on how your organization's treating it.
Very cool. Thank you.
No problem.
Hi, Dan. I had a question. Sorry, I was a little late. It was 5 minutes late, but I was thinking about this during your presentation. For like an environmental nonprofit, right? I know you said fundraise, don't just accept Bitcoin, which I really liked. I thought that was a great way of looking at it. But for an environmental nonprofit, like I feel like there's a lot of stuff in the media and the press right now that talks about the amount of energy that is sucked up by mining some of this Bitcoin, or even trading it. So I'm just wondering, I know this might be kind of a curveball and I apologize, but I'm just wondering, from my point of view, how would you respond to someone who approached you and said, hey, like the amount of, these are incredibly unsustainable trading practices, mining these coins take up X, Y, and Z of, environmental cost. I just think for an environmental nonprofit to accept Bitcoin, might be, it's like we don't buy anything off Amazon. It's the same, principles you have to live by. So I'm just wondering, in your opinion, how you would kind of balance that.
Yeah, David, that's a great question. It's something we see all the time, and I'm glad you could join. No matter if it's late or not, we're always here to help. I understand, like everyone's day is probably packed with meetings. It's you guys, you're trying to raise money to do very important work. So first of all, we get it all the time. What we often see is that a lot of it's actually based on misconceptions that existed and some research that maybe could be updated and really thought through a little bit differently. But one thing to keep in mind is, like, if you look at Bitcoin mining, it uses less electricity than Christmas lights. And right now it's powered by more than 50% renewables, which a lot of people don't realize. A lot of people see like, oh yeah, 10 years ago, yeah, there's probably some things about Bitcoin and Ether mining that could have been better if we could go back. But what I always love to point out is, our wallet partner, Gemini, has a green program. I can't really tell you a lot of details, but we have an exciting announcement coming. Not that we need to, but we decided as a company that we want to be proactive in supporting the world and the environment. So we have some really exciting initiatives coming as well to be a part of, making the world ever more green and ever more positive for the future. So I'm giving you a little teaser there. Be on the lookout. We'll have a big public announcement when our thing is announced. But there's so much out there now about it. Yeah, I think one of the coolest things is that a lot of the organizations out there and a lot of the new cryptos and NFTs are thinking about how to be ever more green. And we see a lot of competition there to have, not just carbon neutral, but like being supportive of the environment. Is it considered carbon negative or carbon positive when you go above and beyond? I always get confused myself.
I guess you could say it's carbon positive. Yeah, no, I see what you're saying, and I actually, that was going to be my follow-up question, actually, which you just answered. If there are alternatives to only investing, in green sources of Bitcoin trading, sounds like there is. So I think that's great. And then I guess you talked a little bit about investing Bitcoin as well for nonprofits. Is that kind of a part of what you do? How has that gone? How has that gone? Like for people that don't want to fully cash out, let's say they want to invest in 5%.
Absolutely.
How has that gone in your experience?
Oh yeah, there's a couple of ways we can look at it. So we have two options for you. You can either not have the conversion on. We do have some nonprofits who, for example, their board and their leadership have agreed in the policies, like how they're going to accept it. And so some of them actually hold it. So they receive a Bitcoin or an Ether and they hold that money as the crypto. And I mean, it's technically a crypto. It's not money at that time. It needs to be converted to be money, but they're holding those cryptos and they're just letting it grow. And so we've seen people do really well because they got it years ago. They sold it at the height. But then we have some folks who received it like very recently when Bitcoin was much higher in the 40,000 range. And now it's not, it's 24 or so thousand today. And so, there's some substantial downsides if you're holding, if you're thinking about the volatility, but for many organizations who have done that, that's been very positive. And so that's kind of cool. And then we have the second thing. So you can either just hold the crypto, like you can receive it and not sell it. That's one option. And the auto receipt still goes out. The donor says, okay, the receipt says not, the fiat value, but it says you sent us 1 Bitcoin on X date to this organization. Here's the tax receipt from that organization to you for the receipt of the gift. That would be your organization's detailed filled in. And then the second piece of that is then we have a process where you can take either cash or crypto and then invest with us in an institutional level. And we're going to take you through that, handhold it. Generally, that kind of work starts around like 6 figures in value or more. But we do have custom solutions that go smaller. But I think that the joke off the record in like a silly way was like, okay, if you're trying to put $100 of Bitcoin, we're not going to help you there. That's not our services. But obviously, if you don't have 6 figures, but you have something substantial, we're going to talk to you. And, it doesn't have to be just 100,000 or more. It might be like, we might be able to work with you at 25 or 15 or 30,000. Just depends on what you're trying to accomplish. Either way, we'll have our team talk to you, figure out your needs and wants, and then we'll share with you our solution that could or might be of consideration to you there, and then we'll take it from there.
Cool. Thanks, Dan. Appreciate it.
Anytime. And that's something, endowment services is something we're working on. We're actually, with our DAF provider, Ren, we're actually offering the very first DAFs in the world where you can hold crypto inside your DAF as a high net worth individual. So you can send your crypto to your DAF and just hold it. Before, you would send your crypto to your DAF and we would sell it for you. And then your DAF would receive the cash at our DAF provider, and that's other DAF providers offer that too. But with our DAF provider sort of collaboration, we're the first solution in the world where you can actually hold Bitcoin and Ether, and then let that grow, then turn it to cash and give it away to nonprofits when you're ready. So that's kind of cool too.
Yep, here we go.
I think we're hearing Rochelle. Hello, Rochelle. Any other questions? And I just wanted to really open up a lot of time for y'all to kind of ask anything that was on your minds.
Do you have any nonprofit success stories with any partners you've worked with?
Oh yeah,
Very, like ones that like really stand out.
Yeah, I think Orangutan Outreach is really cool to check out. They had partnered with Bored Ape Yacht Club, which is one of the leading NFTs on the planet right now. Very, very popular. And they've had some great stories. Check out their social media. See what Bored Ape Yacht Club has shared themselves. I'd also say Trees for the Future, which was shared in the deck, was, they're just fantastic to check out. American Cancer Society has also been very well done. We've seen success from small to, global impact at the organizational level. Also, the Ukraine Fund was very popular. Our work in Ukraine with our partners, we've had over 30 organizations across the world in that space. I'm trying to think, my gosh, the list is endless at this point because there's so many organizations doing a great job out there, and we're seeing more and more philanthropy. The interesting thing I would share with you all right now is that what we saw in quarter 1 and 2 of last year was about 10 million in transactions. And then ultimately another 60 million processed in the latter half of the year going into the end of the year. And the bulk of crypto gifts happen in December, and the bulk of those happen in the last week of December, which is a surprise because most nonprofits, your key dates are end of year and end of your fiscal year, right? And then any activations you might do along the way, like an awareness day or a gala or something like that. But what we find in crypto is that the most popular time period is tax time period, and end of year, because that's when somebody wakes up and goes, oh my gosh, I totally forgot I have a tax bill from all the NFTs I purchased and sold and didn't realize it. And so we have that happening, or my crypto's gone up and I need to get rid of it, or I want to do it. And so that's when they're saying, oh, if I give some of it away, I can do much better for myself and do good at the same time. And so that's something to keep in mind. And then, oh my gosh, forgot where I was going with that, but I think I got the gist of what I was going to say to y'all, but hopefully I didn't miss anything key there.
Could I ask a question?
Please jump in, Nancy.
I just wondered if you could tell us where your clients, the organizations you work with, are on a geographic footprint. Are you dealing West Coast, East Coast? Are you dealing globally? Where are you?
Basically, yes, all of that. It's also a really good question. We're all over. We have folks in New Jersey, New York, and then West Coast, and then all over the world, Africa, England, Canada, you name it. It's pretty cool. And we're offering more and more solutions. So if you do have like chapter organizations, potentially at your organization, we have solutions for receipting in other countries that are coming online as well. That are specific to tax moments there as well. That would be key, because obviously not every country taxes like the US. So we're working on solutions in that area. But yeah, it's a pretty cool thing. And we're seeing organizations, oh, that's what I was going to say before, whether they're global or local, we're seeing some surprises where they're raising money based on the mission. And the mission is really like, as we saw is for, like in fundraising all those years I saw, was that the mission was the number one driver. The connection to the mission was then like the really number one driver when you dealt with a donor. And I think in the crypto space, we're seeing that happen, but on a much more hyper and quicker level than we do in any other philanthropy. You know, we're used to sitting down, having a conversation, building a relationship. And what we see in philanthropy and the crypto space is you don't know the donor sends you $10,000 and then you don't even know how to reach them anymore if you're accepting anonymous gifts, and they didn't drop their information, not because they're being nefarious with their money, but because they want privacy. They want full on privacy. They don't want you to know who they are. And so it's a very interesting space to fundraise in, because you're used to getting to know that donor, building that relationship, but these donors are finding you based on what you're doing. And they're paying attention to whether or not you're active in the crypto space and crypto friendly.
How many organizations in New Jersey are you working with?
Oh, off the top of my head, I don't know. Our total client pool is over 1,800. Jersey, gosh, what a good question. I'd have to go back and pull that for y'all. Yeah, I don't know.
I'm interested because we're in the heart of academia here, and I first learned about crypto on a Coursera course that Princeton University asked everybody in town if they wanted to take. And that was like 2015.
Wow.
So I just wondered if it was different if you were in a university town.
Yeah, that's a good question. I'd be interested myself to find out about that. I would say we do have, just, we do have a lot of universities that are starting to talk about crypto because they're seeing it among their alumni base as a popular way to give. We partner with folks like Ohio State University is one of our clients. We have University of Arizona. And I know a number of other key universities are starting to talk with us about crypto acceptance. But then, if you're not in university, we're seeing folks of all kinds working with us. One of the cool initiatives we have that I should also mention is that we have a crowdfunding platform where we have these impact index funds. And so organizations on the platform, like for environmental, they can receive, so a crypto donor can give through our DAF to all the organizations in the environment that work with us with one gift. So they can give us a Bitcoin and we split it every month to whatever organizations are in the pool. And so that's something we do just to help you for working with us. That's kind of fun. And I actually kind of love it. It's a way to take the DAF giving model and make it more, I find it more interesting because the donor can, it's not just me giving you my money as a high net worth person if I had those assets. It's more about, oh, wow, I can make impact with 100 organizations by making one gift, and they're each doing something in that space. And so it's nice because I can capitalize on getting the gift receipt right away, but then the gift is not held in the DAF longer than the cycle of maybe a month or so. And so that money's immediately pulled out to the world to get to work. And so, we know one of the complaints with DAFs is that someone will hold the cash inside the DAF for years or potentially up to 1 or 2 generations, depending on the DAF provider. And so this is an interesting way to kind of take a DAF and make it more community oriented.
Is an
Thank you.
organization automatically put into that pool, or is that an application or something?
Automatically, yeah. If you're working with us, it's an automatic thing. It's based on your 501c3 status. So we do have some cases like if you're a C4 or a PAC, you wouldn't be eligible. Or if you had a C4 or a PAC arm to your organization, doing work with the like lobbying the government or sharing, who to vote for, we wouldn't be able to fund that. But your traditional 501c3s almost always are qualified.
And do you have a couple of key strategies for connecting with crypto holders and philanthropists?
Yeah, that's a really good question as well. I would say, starting with what's abnormal for nonprofits is it's actually online is where you're going to engage with most of your crypto donors. So first of all, start at home, right? Your backyard. You never know who in your space is actually invested in the crypto space. Your board may have connections now with a lot of investment firms. Investing like VC firms are investing a lot of money in the crypto and NFT space, as well as you never know who's in the tech world that has crypto themselves because they bought in years ago when it was starting up. So definitely check in your backyard first. And then second of all, as you're trying to reach these new donors, which is really where you want to spend most of your time, you're going to probably find yourself on social media and not just posting about giving you money, but trying to build relationships. And you're going to probably slide into some DMs, which is a direct message tool. That's either on Twitter or Instagram, but you're going to start reaching out to donors and engaging them in unique and different ways. And for a lot of nonprofits, like that's not how I was used to fundraising. I was used to setting up meetings, going out, getting to know them, and then finding out who in the heck in my orbit would be the right person to ask and have next to me or next to the CEO to go ask for that gift. And, basically the person they couldn't say no to, and then, really try to take that up and get them to say yes to that major gift. And in this space, what's so interesting is you'll find that the donor doesn't know you maybe yet, and then sees your information and gets inspired, but they kind of self-cultivate in the way. And then they get inspired and they see a connection point where it's probably one of the similar tradition reasons why they give you. A friend is involved in your organization, or they're really connected to your mission, or whatever, but it's something around that connects them, and then they make that first gift. And so what's also interesting, I would say, is that some of our major crypto donors actually attach their names, whereas some of our smaller crypto gift transactions tend to be fully anonymous. So we are seeing an interesting connection, but often then no follow-up. You'll reach out, try to build a relationship, and they won't reach out back to you at all. Or another really cool and fun thing we see is that they'll give you a gift and post the actual tax receipt on social media for the world to see. That I've never closed a major gift, sent the $1 million thank you note after a campaign. How many times have you seen a donor post that on social media? Never. But in the crypto space, we see it all the time, every day, multiple receipts getting posted, literally the exact tax receipt, all the information. They may or may not black out their personal details, just depends. And they're sharing with the world, oh, heck, I just gave, Trees for the Future 1 Bitcoin. And you're just like, wow, like it's just such a different world. It's really about a community vibe, and it's about helping the world. And that research I was mentioning earlier, I can't remember the source, but the data point stuck, which is that 3 in 4 millennials and Gen Z see them as philanthropists. It's not surprising that they do that. When you think about that, it's not surprising in the fact that it's like, wow, my network's online. I view my network as my friendship base or as my community. And so I would be telling my community about that gift, and if I'm making a gift to your campaign or to your annual fund or to your project, I would mention that I've made gifts and told my friends about it. From not everybody, I don't brag, but to the right friends, the right reasons, I might say, oh yeah, we supported that cause for this reason, And so I think it's not a surprise that but it's different in that it's more always online, very social media driven. And then, we obviously see folks on all kinds of platforms, not just Twitter, but Discord, Reddit, Twitch, even for the streaming communities in the gaming world. It's a really interesting space, but they very much are driven by community feeling and vibes. It just happens more online, and it's more worldly versus, just the folks in your neighborhood or in your community.
Thank you, Dan.
Anytime.
Really helpful.
This is some great questions. Is there anything else we can help you with while I'm here today? I just want to make sure we've covered all the basics. And I know crypto is like a weird space, and for some it's like, wow, what is that? So I just want to help you kind of make sure you got a good foundation and a good sense about it.
Do crypto donors volunteer?
That's a great question. I think we're going to see more about that in the coming years. What I've seen so far is some engagement. Where I found it interesting is that a lot of times they will become like a brand ambassador rather than a volunteer. And so they'll volunteer by retweeting, sharing your posts, engaging. There was one example where I saw some NFT collection involved with one of our nonprofits. I think it was the Friends of the Bonobos, if I'm recalling correctly. And this NFT collection has seen hundreds and hundreds of posts, tweets, and thousands of tweets and retweets about this gift. And basically they gave, for each NFT collection, there was money set aside and on the sales, and then they gave it away to this charity. And this community is so passionate that they're helping bonobos. And so they keep retweeting and sharing all about the good work that's being done. So, I think that's a great example that you could keep in mind for that.
What is it that motivates these young people to do cryptocurrency?
To buy it or give it?
Buy it.
To buy it. So I think it's a lot to do with the fact that it's decentralized. It's a great way to build wealth. I mean, I think the building, I've heard it from a lot of advisors out there, and I'm not an expert of any kind in that area, that, the stock wealth building has changed significantly in the last 2 decades where it was, 100 years ago. And so I think, for building wealth and building wealth quickly, crypto and NFTs offer an opportunity that maybe, traditional sources aren't going to offer. Even if you're investing in real estate, that's more of a long-term play from my understanding from a wealth building strategy. So I think the opportunities that exist in the crypto space, the decentralized network, right? You don't just have one banking system behind the closed doors, monitoring all the transactions. Like, how many times have you needed to send a little bit more money than your debit card allows, and you have to get permission from your bank to send your own money to somebody? Whereas in crypto, you don't need that. Like, I can send anybody any crypto I own all over the world. And in some cases, if you get a wallet, you don't even have to produce ID. Not every crypto company requires a crypto holder to produce an ID to own the crypto, which makes it great for, folks who might be in a country that doesn't have access to equal opportunities as maybe like a first world country. And so that provides ability to really, not only transact, but also hold wealth in new ways. And so I'm excited about the potential for the future of this asset class. And then I think it's just really popular among younger people in that, the area is more diverse, it's more interested. I actually see the crypto space is actually very environmentally friendly. A lot of folks, I know that it's had its experiences we talked about in the initial mining and things like that, but there's a lot of passionate environmental folks in the crypto space. For example, and there's a lot of people thinking about more than themselves in the crypto space. It's a very world focused area, but a lot of people want their, they want their anonymity. They want their sort of like decentralized network where they're seeing all the transactions for themselves. They can go and view them all. And so there's a real sort of like game-changing view on how finances and wealth can be both held, acquired, and grown over time. And I think that's what's really powerful about the crypto space and why it draws a lot of people.
This might just showcase my lack of knowledge, but is it easy to create NFTs or have somebody create it to maybe put together a campaign or anything? Or is it you're just accepting NFTs that have been created?
Yeah, Brielle, that's a great question. So it depends. So for nonprofits, we're conservative at the Giving Block around this. We tell nonprofits, like in almost all cases, you really can't hold an NFT. Because it's just like a security, a financial instrument. Now, obviously, if your organization has a different approach, if you build your gift acceptance policies in a way that you can hold NFTs, that's different. We are working on a long-term NFT solution. I know there's a couple providers we partner with that can also help you hold NFTs if that's something your organization's getting into. But for most charities, you actually can't if you're going to treat it similar to a security, in that its value can go up or down over time. So most NFTs typically, because they're like that, most nonprofits need to actually not receive the NFT. They can receive like cash or sort of crypto from the sale. So for example, maybe you auction it off, you work with a third party or an NFT creator who builds it, auctions it off online, and then you receive the 3 Bitcoin that came from the sale, or the 3, and actually we had a client literally a month ago get 70,000 in Ether from an NFT auction. And so you receive the NFT goes from the creator to the new buyer, and you just receive the cash. And that's multiply, like in most cases, not multiply, in most cases, that's what your role is going to be, is either working with a third party who creates NFT and donates the money off of each sale to you, or they create the NFT and then they auction it off and you receive the proceeds. In some cases, though, we're seeing NFT options that can be nonprofit friendly. For example, a proof of attendance protocol, or what you might call a PO app, NFT, that just shows that you showed up somewhere. So maybe your gala has a PO app. There's no cost involved in that. So you're just going to be giving away a token that says, hey, I came to the conference, or hey, I went to that event. That's an interesting option that could exist. So there's things that are evolving every day in the NFT space. But for most organizations, you're just going to receive some sort of money from the NFT sale, or you'll partner with an organization. Like there's third-party companies now that I think Make-A-Wish International is an example. They're working with a third-party company who took this really beautiful artwork from children who are basically, you know, on their deathbeds and dealing with really serious issues. And they put some beautiful artwork together. This third party took the artwork and then is auctioning it off, or they're selling it basically, and then the proceeds go to Make-A-Wish to help more kids have special experiences. And that's a great example of how maybe, you know, your organization could get involved in the NFT space in that way. Maybe you work with an artist who creates it, sells it, you receive the money, or a third-party platform brings an artist and you together. And ultimately your role is going to almost always be receive the money. You can't even really tell people to buy the NFT technically, because if it has value associated with it, you're now potentially giving away purchasing advice, which you can't tell someone to go buy Apple stock as a nonprofit. So you got to kind of keep that in mind. There's a couple of use cases. So we always recommend talk to your accountant team, get a crypto savvy person involved who understands tax laws and nonprofits. You know, definitely do your homework on this. And we're here for you as well. We offer a vetting service for our clients. We help you navigate the NFT space. So that's one of the other things I love about the Giving Block, is there are solutions out there that help you take crypto, but they don't help you navigate the space. And we have people who are out there who are working with the NFT collections directly and can see use cases that we can show you that helps you navigate and figure, okay, hey, I'm thinking this, here's some things to keep in mind. Here's some real world examples that haven't worked. And then you can navigate it for yourself. And we always give you some recommendations, but we come at it from a very conservative angle, because we're here to help you fundraise and not lose your 501c3 status at the same time, which I think is important.
Just a bit. Thanks, Dan.
No problem. Yeah. I'll tell you personally, one of my goals was to get orchestras to sell NFTs, because I felt like, you know, how cool would it be to have a piece commissioned and then own the first recording of that piece? Like, how neat would that be? So I was very passionate in the NFT space as an early sort of advocate over a year and a half ago, when NFTs were just starting to get more and more popular. And so I can see a lot of use cases coming down the pike for nonprofits to really consider, you know, how they can raise money in new ways. And I think NFTs offer that. We predict the NFT fundraising will grow to over 100 million a year by 2025. Last year, 12.3, and we believe this year nearly 25 million this year will be given away from NFTs based on modeling. So it's going to be really interesting to see where NFTs go in the next 5 years.
Well, thank you so much, Dan, for joining us today and giving us a great information about cryptocurrency. I thank everybody for joining us, and we look forward to our next session. Thanks, Dan.
Thanks, Lauren. Nice to meet y'all, and keep doing the good work you're doing for the world.
Thanks, Dan.
Take care.
Thank you all. Nice to see you, Lauren. Thank you for